to measure the heck out of everything. But if we want to accelerate more leads into sales opportunities, it's critical that we recognize that they care about different issues and they're coming from different perspectives of how far along they are in the journey for colocation. So as I mentioned before, your deal stages may vary a little bit, but some reasonable things that people go through is they go from prospects to leads. Leads can become marketing qualified if they hit a certain, if they fill out a certain number of values, if they exhibit a certain kind of behavior. Once they're sales accepted or sales qualified, they advance. Once somebody from sales has a conversation with them, they advance them to an opportunity, project what the value of that is. These are going to vary a little bit depending on your company, but the key thing is to think these things through. It's very unlikely if you're selling colocation that's worth tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars that they're going to immediately advance from a lead to a customer within a matter of hours or within a matter of days. Yeah, every once in a while they've reached the boiling point with their colo provider and there's legitimately an emergency, but people tend to look for colocation replacement usually towards the end of their agreement or when they sense that something is headed really, really south with their current colocation providers. So we talked before about the intersection of your buyer personas and those key metrics, lifetime value, cost of acquisition, and sales cycle, but we also need another grid. We need to make sure for each of our buyer personas that we care about that we have content for each stage of that journey, that we have awareness stage content for people that are just starting to research problems, that we have consideration content for people that are weighing their different options for different colocation providers, and we have decision stage content for people that are ready to talk to sales or just about ready to talk to sales. Most colocation providers on their website are severely overweighted in the decision stage, assuming that everyone is immediately ready to talk to sales, and they're usually severely underweighted in the awareness and consideration stage. They don't have a lot of educational content on their website. So the building blocks to do this is you need buyer personas, you need premium educational content that's good enough that people will trade a business card for it. And when I say trading a business card, it's kind of metaphorical. The offline version would that be if you had like a sponsor booth down in the expo floor and your CEO wrote a book about some aspect that's especially relevant to the data center industry, and everyone that came by your booth could trade a business card for an autographed copy of the book, and that book, you know, maybe worth $30, $40, $50. You're kind of doing the virtual version of that on your landing page with an ebook, with a white paper, with a special report, downloadable guide, webinar recording. So that's basically how people do that value change. There needs to be conversion paths to take someone from a visitor to a lead. Segmentation should be a very important part of that, not treating everyone as if they're the same. They care about different issues. Workflow automation is really key too. If somebody is looking at your content at 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and no one from your sales team is going to be able to touch them for 12 hours, for 24 hours, 36 hours, you want a way to be able to continue accelerating things. You'd be shocked, once this is set up correctly, how many first-time visitors become someone that hangs out on your website and reads 20 or 30 pieces of content and watches a whole bunch of videos and things like that just because you had it there. If you don't have that deep amount of content there, there's no way for them to spend that kind of time getting educated about all these issues and starting to fall in love with your content and by extension falling in love with your company. Events are really key too, especially in the colocation space, whether you're doing webinars, whether you're doing open house events that encourage tours. This is a very, very big part of being able to advance the sales process for colocation providers. So this should be part of most of your strategy and should be very well baked into your whole digital footprint and playbook.